everything we do has an energetic quality about it. And that's what we try to tap in energy healings and energy medicine.
You do a lot of things in the space of acupuncture, but I know that you're also qualified in the field of energy healing. And I think a lot of people don't have an understanding of what energy healing is. So did you want to have a quick chat and describe and talk us through what energy healing is?
Okay, so I'll firstly start with my training and my experiences that might give you a better understanding as to how I came about to doing this. I've been doing practices such as Qigong and Tai Chi and martial arts and meditation since my 20s. I'm now in my 50s, although I don't really want to admit that. In that, the concept of Qi is very important, and Qi is the underlying fabric of the universe and the mind and the creation of life here on this plane. So things like Qigong and Tai Chi is about learning to focus the energy and to move that energy through the body. Also, when we do things like acupuncture, we are actually moving energy as well. Also, when I was in I'm just trying to remember, I think it was 40s, I studied medical Qigong.
Yep.
And I did a year of that. And then I also did shamanism. So a lot of cultures do use energy medicine as part of their healing modalities until,
Right.
Western medicine. So even the Aboriginal Australians
Yep.
were using things like energy medicine. I read a book on Aboriginal men uh, of importance, and they were talking about how they did things that was very similar to Qigong, like their thoughts and intentions or emit energy. They talked about astral traveling and all sorts of things as well. So of a special note, I just wanted to talk about one of the ancient Greek philosophers. I think it's Hermes.
Yep.
Hermes, the Hermetic tradition has 7 universal laws.
Right.
And the first law is all is mind.
Right.
So everything is conceptualized in the mind, and the mind creates all things. So in energetic healing, we are wanting to access that layer of not just the physical body, not just the energetic body, but into the deep, deep belief systems, the unconscious mind that actually creates the world.
And do you think that that has a lot to do in the reflection of, I mean, there's that strong terminology that people say the power is in the mind. Do you find that, with energy healing, a lot of it has to come from the mind of the individual that's going through the energy healing to help that healing go forward?
I've talked about several different levels of healing. Okay, so not to say that one's better than the other,
Yep.
but definitely when you're starting to do energy medicine, you're really looking at the substrata of the universe and how the subconscious creates it.
Right.
I mean, most people are only conscious of their conscious mind. When we start going into energy healing, you want to reach a state where your belief is that you can actually heal.
Right.
But really deeply you understand that and you believe that, and so it manifests as a result.
Yeah, right. Okay. And you mentioned other stages. So what are those stages?
So I mean, obviously there's a gross level, the physical level. Okay, so then you can work on things like the etheric, a body. When I do energy healings, I very much feel into the energy chi level. So when you go deeper into healing, then you start looking at the subconscious mind and its belief systems and thought patterns. And if you want to go a step deeper, you can work with deities or energies such as ascended masters or other kind of, you can actually work with that as well, because the subconscious mind or the mind is undifferentiated. We only think we're different because we are a fragment of mind, believing that we are separate. But if you go right into the absolute, substrata of everything, then all mind is one. So
Yeah,
all is one. So
right.
then
So
you can work with,
no separation. The two are combined. It's just that we're not accessing that combination. Is that what you're saying?
yes. And so that's why people can work with deities that, you can call upon
Yeah.
Archangel Michael, or you can
Yeah.
call upon Jesus, or you can call upon Kuan Yin.
Yeah.
There's all these energies that you can work with
Yep.
within a healing session.
Right. So let's take a step back for someone who, I'm very open-minded, so I'm happy to talk about when you mention things about accessing the energies of deities and things like that. So let's take it down, and as if you were talking to somebody who had no idea about the concept of accessing those energies, break it down. How does someone without any of that spiritual knowledge try to work towards connecting with those energies?
Well, the idea of energy healing is that all they have to do is relax,
Right.
because it is our egoic mind, our conscious mind, that prevents us from contacting that level of healing.
Right.
I mean, everyone can do it themselves if they knew how to.
Yeah.
To coming to an energy healing is only to help you facilitate it, but ultimately it has to happen on your own level.
Right. And
So
again, it comes to the connection and the disconnection of the conscious and the unconscious mind.
absolutely.
Right.
And so one of the things that's really, really important is to get the person to be able to relax and release blockages that might be, belief systems that might not be serving them
Yeah.
in their own healing or in their own evolution or in their own ascension.
Right. And how does that go when you do have someone come in that is open to it but has no knowledge base of it? How do you first introduce them into the concept of energy healing?
Well, they don't need to understand everything.
Sure.
Um, I mean, usually people that come for energy healing already have some need or desire for healing. So if you
Right.
have a need or a desire for healing, then you are already of the mind and you believe that you can be healed, which is a great thing.
Yeah, it
So
is.
there's all to work with. I mean, if you're one person that says, no, I've got this condition and I can never heal, that's it,
Yeah.
then it's almost like you are creating your own reality.
Right. It's almost like an
But
energy
also,
block. They're blocking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's your choice.
Mm.
It's your choice ultimately.
Yeah.
And it's not my job or anyone else's job to really try to convince people, because everyone's views are valid.
Yeah.
We are all having a human experience.
Yeah.
But for those that want to go further,
Yeah.
really it's about connecting.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the conscious mind. It's all very much in the head.
Yeah.
A lot of healing comes when we come back into our body and into our heart. So coming back into our feeling center. If I had some sort of issue, emotion, and I didn't want to feel that way, if I was healing myself, what I would do is go into my body,
Yep.
go into my feeling center,
Yep.
and maybe just ask myself what it would be like to really feel empowered or healed,
Right.
or how would I be if my body was fully functioning and working and joyful? How would what kind of imageries would I get? How do I feel in my body?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going out of this logical mind and actually accessing our body and the knowledge that is intrinsic within our own, body and our manifestation here.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
each cell receives communication through the mind,
Yep.
but also has its own intelligence, but it's usually more subconscious in the body. So we have to get rid of the conscious mind and just access that deeper subconscious, which is the whole body.
Right. Okay. So this is a fascinating topic. I mean, I feel like there's just so many different avenues to it. Is that right? There's so many different ways to access
Oh,
it, to
there
work
are
with it.
so many different ways of energy healing. I just want to let you know that, people that are doing Reiki are doing it. People that are shamanic healers are doing it.
Right.
Um, you even working with acupuncture at some level, you're actually moving the energy and you're moving, um, it, thought precedes the movement of energy. But
Yeah.
if you move the energy, it affects your thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So acupuncture works in a two-way thing.
Yeah.
It
Right.
affects, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, yeah. Like you said, it comes down to the movement of energy, and acupuncture actually does do that. Maybe
Yeah,
more from a theoretical point of view for someone who doesn't understand the concept of that energy, but that's essentially what acupuncture is doing. It's removing the blockage. It's helping it move, right?
that's correct. There is intelligence in the energy, in the chi.
Yeah.
So, uh, you know, what we're trying to do is to access that energy and to redirect it into certain ways.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I have a quick story. I'd never had tried energy healing before, and I slipped a disc and bent my sciatic nerve many, many, many years ago. And I needed some assistance in not just getting chiro and acupuncture, but at the time that acupuncture wasn't qualified in anything other than acupuncture. So I went to my massage therapist, who was actually Reiki trained as well, and she did energy healing. And I'll never forget the feeling I had when she said, I need to do energy healing. And I was more than open to it because I was so frustrated with the pain and not being able to function properly. I just said, yeah, I'm open to it. Whatever you want to do, I trust you. I've known you for a while. I trust you. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. And she didn't even touch my body. The heat that was coming from her hands as she manipulated the energy around my sacrum area, which is where my issues were, and feeling the shift of the energy. And this isn't all spiritual voodoo. Or, it was phenomenal, the sensation as she shifted and moved the energy. And for the first time in 7 days, I was able to get off the bed and go, oh my God. I mean, she still said to me, take it easy because there's still you've still got a bent sciatic nerve. But she said, you should be able to walk and the pain should start to subside in the next 48 hours. And I mean, she nailed it. And that was my first ever encounter with energy healing. And I got to tell you, I haven't done it since, but I'm an advocate for it. When someone comes to me and talks about it, I always tell that story and say, well, I'd never done it, but let me tell you my story. And I'll never forget that sensation. It was phenomenal what happened to the body.
Yeah, and I've had similar stories of healings that have happened to myself, and also
Yeah.
when I've been healing people too, where there's been some big shifts as well. Um, if you go on YouTube and you look at the Qigong healers in real time healing a lady with bladder cancer,
Yeah.
it'll come up with this clip of, I think it's two or three Qigong practitioners
Right.
emitting sound with their hands out, going sa, sa, sa over a lady's bladder. And
Wow.
the bladder, the ultrasound of the bladder shows that the actual bladder cancer is dissolving in real time. So look at that on YouTube because there are clips.
Wow. So that's
It
like a combination of science and energy healing because the scans are showing the evidence.
Absolutely. Also, I
Phenomenal.
just want to say that if you're going to church and you're praying, if
Mm.
you're praying for somebody, all is mind. Believe that.
Yep.
Putting that into the unconscious, you're setting an intention, you're setting an energy structure. It will affect things.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
very powerful.
I strongly
Especially,
believe that.
yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think you need to be religious to understand that concept.
No,
I think if you
no.
speak to most people on a spiritual level, they get that. We all say little prayers, right? Whether we feel we are religious or not, we all say little prayers when needed in a time of crisis or stress. And I do feel that things change when you make that little prayer. Most of the time I don't know who I'm praying to, but a lot of the times an outcome will come out of it. And I think, geez, that kind of worked. Like you said, setting that intention, putting it out to the universe, and what the universe is giving it back.
It's got to be the prayer and the belief that it can be done.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So
Yep.
intention is powerful.
Yeah.
Intention is very powerful.
Yeah.
Um, just talking about the lady with the bladder cancer
Yep.
healed real time with the Qigong practitioners,
Yep.
that's great. It gets rid of it.
Yep.
But I would say for her that she needs to either train her body
Right.
to energetically change the imprint as well.
Right.
Um, Qigong is great, but it is external chi that's actually moving it. It would be
Right.
greater if the lady could generate the healing thoughts and the emotions and the intentions within herself to be able to not accumulate that in the future again.
Right. So you've touched base on a really interesting topic then. So what is the comparison of someone coming in for an energy healing compared to a treatment of Qigong masters that are treating damaged energy? What you said that it's more of an external to an internal. How does that sort of work?
Um, if you're a Qigong master and you're doing Qigong healing, you are very much using the Qi which you've cultivated yourself
Right.
as a tool instead of using needles
Right.
or herbal medicine. You're actually using the Qi, which and your mastery of directing and using your will to direct your Qi
Yep.
to heal something else.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
which might be very, very powerful. It can remove blocks.
Yep.
However, if there is a thought pattern
Yep.
that is deeply entrenched within your body that is creating a certain condition within yourself, I
Yep.
would say that you need to keep doing Qigong exercises or learning to master your own energy or looking at your deep subconscious thoughts that are creating blockages within your body.
Which is what you referred to before. It does centrally come back to the mind of the individual having the treatment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All is
Yeah.
mind initially. You know, you have a thought, you feel an emotion, the chi moves a certain way.
Yeah.
So chi is constantly moving between you and between things.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we have what we call our own chi, but that's not really, I mean, where does it end? You
Sure.
know, is it, you've got your physical body, it doesn't
Yeah.
end there because you've
Yeah.
got an etheric body, and then that's chi. And then you've got, you can have got an energy out here,
Right.
an energy field out here, but then beyond that, where does it actually finish and where does it
Sure.
actually end?
Right.
It's all open. So your chi is constantly interacting with your environment, other people, the food that you eat, the air that you breathe. It's all changing. The seasons, how you sleep, everything influences your chi, and even
Right.
other people influence your chi,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So when you have a healer that's using their chi to direct chi within the body of the client,
Yep.
you're still interacting. And where does the practitioner's chi finish? Where does the client's
Sure.
chi start?
Right.
It's very hard because we really ultimately we are all one,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Think we're separate entities in different bodies
But still
ultimately.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
um so it's a very gray area.
How does it work? What's the procedure?
So if someone was to come and see me, you mean for an energy
Yeah.
healing?
Yeah.
um so usually we talk for a couple of minutes because usually they have a reason to come.
Sure.
Doesn't mean you have to, but usually people do. Or actually have had people that just have come and said, I just want to experience it,
Oh, really?
which
Wow.
is fine
Yep.
as well. But
Yep.
sometimes people are saying things like they have been through difficult times, or um, they're feeling disconnected or something like that, and they just want to be more connected. Or sometimes people will say, I've had this issue with my hip. Can you have a look at it? I've got sore knees or whatever it is.
Yep.
Um, Generally, there is an intention associated with the healing.
Right.
Then through my training, we always create a sacred space of healing.
Sure.
So I open the four directions,
Yep.
which is kind of like the four towers, the east, south, west, and north.
Yep.
We call in the energies, we call in the guides of both the client and myself.
Yep.
And call in Mother Earth and Father Sky. And it's the intention behind this is just to create a safe space to work with energy. It's like clearing that, because like I said, energy is so permeable.
Yep.
We're actually creating a space of higher vibrational energy to facilitate healing. So so we'll do that.
Yep.
The client will usually lie on the table.
Yep.
And the first thing I do is create a cocoon around. And that's also the same thing. It's creating that sacred space. It's creating that higher frequency. And because the body's going to be permeable to energy at this point in time, we need to protect it against the density of negative thoughts, negative intentions, residues from maybe other people that have been there in the healing. So, and then the first thing I do after that is I'll just quickly scan through, like I'll dredge the body of anything that's just kind of like hanging on. And I'll kind of, and also while I'm dredging the body, I'm actually feeling and sensing what areas need to be worked at. So quite often they will come out and become apparent. And I have to say the heart and the solar plexus are quite commonly areas that I'm drawn to that need work in our society, just because of the way society is. It's the stresses that people have. Quite often that's the place I'll start working. Even though the heart's quite commonly involved, and I'll know that I need to work with that area, and this is just something that might be unique to me, but different people sense different things, and different people have better qualities in certain area. So I'm clairtangent, which means I feel energy through sensation, and I feel it through my body. So if I know I've come across that area that I need to work at, my whole body kind of starts to feel like I've got pins and needles and tingles of excitement. So I know that I have to stop there and I have to work on that area. So
that's so interesting.
So other areas that are commonly I find I need to work at is quite often people have an overactive mind. And so you actually feel their head buzzing, and it's all the energy is just here on the top part of their body. So the idea, like I said, in deeper healing is to get them out of the thinking center and more into their body and into their heart. So there's different ways you can do that. Quite often if people have had surgery, I might go run my hands over it and I can feel the incision marks or that there's been a blockage. And then the same, like even with the legs, the knees, I'll look for blockages. I'll look for ways to clean it and to dredge it out of the body. Then, for instance, I will open the 7 chakras, of the body into balance after I've done the first scan. Sometimes I'll work with specific organs, for instance, the lungs, if there's a lot of grief or if there's kind of lung issues or things that I'm feeling densely around the lungs, the heart, the liver, the spleen. I will be working with those organs by clearing them and then putting energy into them. So I might create energy balls or the idea is to set the intention and you can actually insert energy balls or even needles, energetic needles within people. And they do have a certain effect. So I don't actually have to use a physical needle. I can use an energetic needle. Well.
So are there any times where you do an energy healing where you feel the requirement for a proper acupuncture needle is required if there's dense blockage, or you just focus on the energy?
I have often said to my clients I may actually put a physical needle in, but I've never done it.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I have used crystals. Crystals are an amazing way of funneling energy into a person. Clear quartz is amazing. It's a very good energetic conductor. I have used rattles, like shamanic rattles.
Really? Oh, wow.
And break dense energy. I'm just trying to think what else I have used. So what the crystal does is it kind of condenses the energy that you're sending through
Yep.
to a specific area of the body.
Okay. So more targeted.
So it's more targeted and more focused, and they'll feel it more because it's quite a pinpointed feeling. And if you want to just feel that for yourself, get a pointed crystal.
Yes,
and
I have one right here.
Oh, wow, good. Just hold it above your palm, like with the point down.
Yes.
And just move it around your palm. You should be able to feel a tingling in your lower hand.
I do. I feel a little bit of heat, but I also feel like I'm about to drop it. It's actually quite heavy. I might need to practice this one. So, and that's what you do when you're doing the energy healing. You put the focus in through that to target that area. Yeah.
On that note, you don't have to use crystals. You can create energy balls, and I'm going to show you how. Right.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Practical.
Put your hands.
Yes.
Bring them close, but not touching, and then pull it out.
Yes.
And imagine that you've got something between them, and you might feel some sort of stickiness.
Yeah, it does still. Yeah, it does feel sticky.
Okay, so I want you to grow it.
Okay.
And create a ball and start rolling it.
Okay.
And you might be able to feel that tingly feeling in your palms as you're rolling it.
I do, but more than the tingling, I feel heat.
Yes, so some people feel it as heat, some people, and it also depends on the intention that you put into creating this energy ball, right?
Yep.
So rolling it.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely feel heat.
Okay, so that's just
interesting.
And then pulling it, and then so basically when I'm doing an energy ball that I'm going to insert into somebody, I'm sending intention and energy. Yes. And then when it's ready, just say this is the person, I'll kind of put it into them and they will feel that.
Okay. And that could have been my experience when I had the Reiki, when I felt that heat come onto the body.
Absolutely, absolutely. So so that's just the things. I can never tell what I'm going to do for a healing for the person's actually doing, because I'll be directed by the energy that I'm feeling or the tingliness in the body, which I assume is my guides, because I haven't spoken to many other people that feel it that way.
I kind of feel like, I mean, I've come in for a couple of treatments with you. I sort of feel like that is reflective with your acupuncture treatments as well, where I've come in for something. You've checked my pulse and some other vitals, and you've sort of said, yeah, I'm going to treat that. I can see that's a problem, but I can also see that there's an issue here. And I sort of feel like you're always directed to heal that. And I always walk away feeling amazing. And I think, gosh, she's really good, because even though I was complaining about that, she picked up on something else, which kind of reflected the issue I had anyway, because the issue might not have been coming from there. It was coming from somewhere else.
Absolutely. So as an acupuncturist, what we need to do is to look at the ben and the baal, is what we say, the root and the manifestation. Right. So the manifestation might be a rash on your skin or a headache, but the root might be deficiency. You know, it might be that you're blood deficient or your kidney energy is weak. We need to look at, we treat the ben and the baal together. So any acupuncturist or healer that's looking to heal somebody at a very fundamental level must look at, you know, the root and the manifestation.